Hey everyone, Nick Engvall here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about some of the people that make the sneaker history community and this podcast possible. It's more important than ever to think about who you give your money to when you're buying clothing to go with your kicks. Our friends at Guilty Goods started their brand with a goal of giving back, especially to the communities that make sneaker culture possible. With every purchase from Guilty Goods, at least 10% of the proceeds are donated to organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Movement for Black Lives, and many more. You can save 30% on your order by using the code HISTORY at guiltygoods.us. Again, that's history at guiltygoods.us for 30% off, and you can feel good about your purchase knowing you're supporting a meaningful cause. Sneakers are all about presentation, and if you're like me, displaying your kicks at home or in the office is just as important as when they're on your feet. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of the shoe, not just the heel or the toe, the whole shoe. They've also got display cases for trading card collectors and hat collectors. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save at least 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. If you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of sneaker history and the podcast since the early days. He's currently the defending champion in our community trivia nights competition. Kicks with V hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. You can save 10% on your order by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. Now, you're probably here because you like sneakers, and if you join the Discord, you know our community is about so much more than that. Whether it's the marathon-like community calls, trivia night debates, the in-person meetups, or just sharing our favorite experiences, we found that although we have such different backgrounds, we all have some unexpected shared passions. Not only does the entire community look out for each other when it comes to releases, we're like a support group for life in general. You can join the Discord community for free by heading to the show notes of this episode. After you're done listening to this episode, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Now let's get into today's episode.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move!
James with no regard for human life. Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What up? Welcome back to the Sneaker History Podcast. Hey, before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about a couple of our partners. These are some of the folks that help us keep the podcast going, and they have some exclusive discounts just for our listeners. If you're a subscriber of our YouTube channel, you already know how I love to display my kicks when I'm not rocking them. My friends at Sneaker Throne make sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of your shoe, not just the heel or the toe. And they just released their new hat throne for those that collect fitteds or snapbacks like myself. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection, whether it's kicks, hats, or both. You can save 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. Now, if you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of the Sneaker History Podcast since the early days, and his hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. V has 2 new flavors that just dropped, habanero coffee and chipotle ginger. My mouth is actually watering just talking about them. He's giving an exclusive discount to our podcast listeners. The first 50 people to use the code SneakerHistory10 will save 10% on their order from kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast or becoming a partner with the community, get in touch with us. You can reach us by email at podcast@sneakerhistory.com. Or better yet, tell some of your favorite brands they should be sponsoring our podcast. All right, enough business. Let's get into today's episode.
What's going on, everybody? We're back on another episode of the Sneaker History Podcast. And guys, my name is Mike, and I am here with the man, the myth, the Jordan 1 expert. You know, we know him as Kenneth. You guys in the sneaker world know him as Mr. Unloved Ones. My man, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Man, I can't complain. You know, it's just it's good for another day, especially in these times, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure, man. So, you know, we talked a little bit beforehand, but just to let the audience know, guys, if you aren't familiar with Kenneth, you aren't familiar with Mr. Unloved Ones, get familiar because he has some of the greatest content surrounding Jordan 1s. And then also he'll talk about some other things as well. So really do, you know, appreciate what he puts out there. Probably somebody who has as many followers as he has and still is positive, and he really engages with his following, his subscribers. So, man, we can only say we appreciate that, because you're not out there gatekeeping like a lot of those guys out there. You're trying to pass knowledge as opposed to trying to hold it all in. So we thank you for that. And really, we just want to talk about, state of the Jordan 1. If 2022's come around, everyone has their ideas. Oh, it's the next shoe. It's the Jordan 2 now, the Jordan 3, so on and so forth. But to us, to many individuals, I think the Jordan 1 has what we like to call staying power. So me personally, I don't see much changing in a sense of being able to get them and how hard Jordan brand and Nike will push them. But, you let me know, man. Let us know your thoughts.
Before we go any further, let me say salute to Gentry. Congratulations on an amazing career, because he retired last year. And last year was sort of his swan song for leaving. A lot of the pairs that released last year were pairs that he worked on or was on the design team of creating. Like the Cool Grays, the Toro Bravo 5s, Thunders, like you name it. Like that was him. Lightning, not Thunders. I'm sorry, the Lightnings. Like you name it, that was him. So I want to say that first. Secondly, as far as like Jordan 1s this year, man, it's my wife. The women's pairs are already winning, and I know a lot of people haven't necessarily seen everything coming. But between me and Z, we kind of previewed 80% of all of the Jordan 1 OG highs coming out this year.
So, without spilling the beans, because we know we want to keep you right with everybody, your take on, because we've definitely seen the women's shoe take a giant leap forward. They've just gone away from the shrink it and pink it standpoint and really put out some really quality products for them, which is awesome. They deserve it. Right. And so much so, you got men, who, when they don't have extended sizes, who are up to that size 10 or size 11, really just, really trying their hardest to get that over some other things. So your thought on what we ended the year with women releases to what you've seen so far. Again, we don't need the details, but what are your thoughts in a sense of scope, and is it going to be better than 2021?
It's going to be better. Okay. Automatically. I'm already predicting that. We already get it every time a women's pair releases anyway, that men are upset they don't come in extended sizes, blase blue. But literally every women's Jordan 1 this year is already better than the majority of the men's pairs coming out.
Ooh. Okay. I can believe that, because some of the stuff they were coming out with, just color block wise, palettes they were using. There was a Zoom Comfort women's Jordan 1. It had like nappy suede on the toe box. It was like this. It was earth tones. It was the quietest release ever. I went to Sneaker Politics, their website. It saw a release. It sold out like that. That was one of the cleanest Jordan 1s I had seen.
Yeah, talk too loud about the comforts, because my wife, I still haven't gotten my wife a pair. She really wants them. But I said my wife really wants a pair, and I haven't gotten her one yet. So they keep selling out the colors that she likes. So, like, the crazy part about it is that has been probably the best new iteration of a Jordan 1 to ever release.
I'm right there with you. I'd second that.
I tried to look back through all of the different variations that's came out, from just any random thing that you could think of, like Nouveau straps. But these Zoom Comforts took off like wildfire. Like, they started off slow. We had the Zion and the women's blue one that had like buttons and stuff on it, but then like they just picked up speed going into 2021, and they just never stopped.
For sure, man. Like, because they have them on the sneakers app, but it's not, they push the stories like leading up to the shoe. They don't really do so because it is that new model, and a lot of time people, the loudest voices get heard, and I feel like a lot of people do say, oh, it's not OG, we don't want to talk about it, but you're missing out.
You got Nike on the tongue.
It's like there's some little changes here. Maybe the wing's not embossed. Maybe it's a cutout this time or whatever it may be, but it's a good product. Again, they started a little slow, but they really picked up speed with putting a quality sneaker out. So I think, again, I don't work at Nike. I don't work at Jordan Brand, but it's something I would hope they would push harder. mean, of course, it works on the women's side, but
Yeah,
there's
we get more men's side. So I think the plan for this year is to do sort of like his and her colorways. So like when you see one, you want to see a men's slight variation version of that. And that's what I've seen so far with the first 6 for this year. I'm trying to see more of them, but that's all I've seen so far as the Zoom Comforts. And they're looking pretty good. I mean, I guess there's the patent leather ones that are mixed with those two, the purple one, the purple black and white one, and then the red black and white one are the only 2 Zoom Comforts that I've seen mixed reviews on this year. Everything else is gonna go.
That red one is solid. I saw the kind of pictures. I don't know if they're official images, but from what I've seen, they look solid to me. I'm not the biggest patent fan, but it looks like it's in choice places to where the whole shoe's not patent.
Right.
And I guess kind of on that point, what did you think about the patent red or patent black red? Because that one came out to some serious mixed reviews.
Yeah, I liked them. I like the color. I hate patent leather. Let me toss that out there. Like, I made sure I said that, like, when I did the review, before I even got the shoe. Like, I hate patent leather. But that's not going to stop me from getting a dope shoe. Mind you, it's a bread. You're not going to not get a bread. But the color is so I can curse.
Go for it. You're good.
The color is so fucking vibrant that I couldn't, like, ignore that shoe. Like, as much as I wanted to say, like, all right, I'm going to get it. Probably going to wear it only when it rains. I like it. I really do. Like, it's that color pops so much that I can wear something like this and go. So that it made for a perfect cap for the end of the year.
Yeah. See, I've been wanting to see him in person, but I mean, I hate when we say that, knowing dang well that we ain't gonna see nothing in person half the time until you buy it.
Right.
I'm kind of in the same boat about the patent. I'm not a big fan of uncertain things. Like, of course, Jordan 11s, that's just what we grew up on. That's patent. But when it comes to things like Jordan 1s, I've always been kind of weird because not because they crease. I don't give a crap about the creasing. It's just they're not as Jordan 1s aren't super comfortable to begin with, and that's the material's not breaking in real fast. So I like the look. I love of course this classic, but it's one of those ones that I was like, we'll see what happens. But just like everything else, I mean, it's that classic color. It was holiday or beginning of the year, whenever it came out now at this point. But the resale market has done his deed on it.
So with the new patents, like from the black metallics that they did in was that 2019, in the 2019 or the end of 2020, one of the two. I think it was the end of 2020. The material that they used for the inner lining was different. It's not mesh. It was like that nylon lining. So like it makes the fit just a little bit better, like just as far as like sliding in the shoe. The patents is thicker than what you would have seen on the top threes or the gold toes or something like that. Like, I think like the patent leather they used on those was like very thin compared to what they've done recently. And even with these patent breads that just came out, like it's a little thicker, which is good, which is cool. But it gives you a little bit more room to stretch them. Like, they're not uncomfortable. Like I wore them for like a week straight when I got them. I like went on a trip with them, as a matter of fact, like the week I got them. A little birthday trip up to North Carolina for my son. And and I drove with them on, and I hate driving with new shoes, but like I drove with them on. It wasn't too bad. So
that's good. So I mean, it's good to hear. So for people who didn't know, who were kind of weird about buying them and maybe still looking to do so, they got the extra cash to do it on the resale market. Hey, looks like they're using better material, so that's good to know because, like you said beforehand, that thinner leather that just wasn't comfortable on foot, but better cuts, better insides, better guts on the shoes. Always nice to hear.
So, and that restock is coming very, very soon. The reason why they did not stop the actual release from happening in December was because enough stores were already allocated pairs for them to push it through. Had they had a smaller percentage of the stores that had them, they would have postponed the release. But enough stores got them, enough pairs were here for them to say, all right, let's just go, and we'll do a restock later. which is why you see, what is it, like Finish Line or Foot Locker, one of the two just now putting their stuff up, because most of their pairs, it's like 70% or 80% of allocation has to make it for them to be like, we can push. Any store below that is when you'll start hearing postpones and then pushing stuff back.
Oh, okay. See, I was going to bring up the next point, because with everything going on when it comes to just supply chain issues, from the knowledge you have, without giving too much information out, is there any kind of foreseeable delays? I mean, first one I think of right now is the Marina Blues.
Right. So, like, the first pushbacks happened in November. Second one's happened in December, and they've already done the third one to counteract. But, like, everything was already – these are all contingency plans. Like, they were already in place. Like, just in case this doesn't get here, we already have a second and third date lined up for everything, to where it's not going to mess up the impending bigger releases that they have coming. And I think they've done their last pushback, if I'm not mistaken. I need to check Z. I think Z put out the last of the information probably like a week or so ago. We should not have any more pushbacks until after March. Like March, we would hear about pushbacks again if we have any more. And that's because everything has already started moving. Like the docks have already been unloaded. I mean, there's still like tons of stuff that's not getting moved around, like necessity wise, outside of sneakers and shit. But like everything is being moved right now. And they're changing the way that, stuff is being shipped over here, because like cargo, by plane is way more expensive than doing the freight, even though freight has gone up like 10, 20 times what it was even 6 months ago. So like they're trying to offset that. These prices rising are not an offset of that. It was already in lieu of the shipping issues in 2020. So
funny, I was just about to ask you that to see if that was something that was part of the shipping, debacles that we've been having. That's why the reason.
Not recent. It is, but it isn't, if that makes any sense. Like it is because of the past, but not because of what's happening now.
Yeah, because they have to. It takes a while to allocate from, or not allocate, but really move those funds from prior laws, I suppose. Because
think about sneakers. We got to think Nike and Jordan Brand is bigger than just sneakers. They have actual equipment. They got clothing. They have other merchandise. Period. So when we gotta think sneakers is like the lowest common denominator of money making for these brands.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, and that's always laugh, because as sneaker communities that we see and we're a part of, everyone lives in that really microverse of, hey, it's only sneakers, this, and this is where the money comes from. Of course, yes, sneakers are a big part of that big chunk of the pie, but first off, the sneakers we buy aren't even a part of that. It is the things like the Air Max 270, it's the shell toes, it's the whatever, pick a brand, pick a shoe that's always out. That's the money maker.
The inline stuff, yes. But I don't think a lot of people realize that even like when it comes to the retros, not every retro is a bottom line dollar feeder for the brand. Just like I said, those Zoom Comforts, they took allocation out of the mids. And what I mean by that, like there's give or take 60 to 90 mids that are going to come out a year. They took a good 30 away from that to go towards the Zoom Comfort line, because they're classified as mids. They're not mids, but they're classified as mids. They're their own silhouette completely. They're not highs, they're not mids. They're their own thing. But yeah, they took away this how a lot of things happen with certain product, like the silos. The way they do their allocation. So like you got X amount of fives coming a year, you got X amount of lows coming this year, you got whatever have you. Like all the allocation has been set. Like, okay, we're making all this. You'll see the production dates usually just a couple of months between each other when it comes to just certain silos. And like when I've seen all this stuff, like it's out there for us to see. Like if we really paid attention and we just looked at because the production dates are on the shoe. You look at the production dates of one Air Force One to the next Air Force One. You can have two white on whites with 3 months apart.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, there's just so much behind the scenes that, like you said, if we looked for it and we paid attention, we would see it. But I feel like, again, people live in that same, if it's not something that's, on sneakers, on, Soul Collector, whatever it may be, people need to understand. I feel like they need to understand the business part of it as opposed to just the sneaker part. Because if so, I think, even though we all get angry about those L's. I mean, I love whenever something new pops out, you like top priority. And like, look, if it happens, but the behind the scenes, like, if I can't get it, look, I know the behind the scenes of what's happening. But we all know that there are restocks happening, with certain things eventually. But it's more to it than just click got them. It's a business that's being run. And I feel like a lot of times we just forget the whole aspect. We think there's like a sneaker fairy out there just dropping these suckers on the internet.
So, like, I know, like, the bottom line to everybody's problem is just make more pairs. It doesn't work that way because, again, let's go to the bottom line premise of sneakers is not the biggest moneymaker for these brands. It's the face for a lot of things, yeah, but it's not the moneymaker. Which is why you go to a Champs, Foot Locker, TCLR, they're trying to push other products versus the sneakers. You come to the desk with a pair of sneakers, they're going to offer you to buy a headband or some socks because that's what pushes the stores, not only their bottom line dollar, like, making them actual money, but like their account status. Like, the higher the account status, the more stuff they get, the more visibility they get, the more perks the employees get. So it's just like it's a revolving door when it comes to all that stuff, and sneakers is at the bottom of it, even though that's the goal for a lot of them. So it is what it is, though. I look at it as if, like, they can make 1 million pairs of shoes. Still 16, 17 million people who want the shoe. So it's like, even if they make 1 million pairs of shoes, they're not going to make 1 million size 10s.
Yeah, they still have to break them up to the size frames. And literally, when you get those millions, it's full family size. It's not just, we're going to make 1 million men. We're going to make 1 million women's, because they always throw that crazy number out with the Jordan 11s recently. So cool, great. Everyone's like, there's 1 million in production. That's great.
Toddler, GS, women's. But then you got to think about allocation. So here's something I learned last year. This was like my favorite tidbit to toss out there, but I was happy that I learned this. So last year I found out that every single store has a store buyer. Mm-hmm. And they decide what they're going to get. What I mean by that is, if this store knows for a fact there's only one person in their city that is a size 15, I'm not getting a goddamn size 15. I'm not ordering a size 15 for my store. I'm going to get the sizes I know that are going to sell, because what if that guy doesn't like this shoe? Now I'm stuck with a size 15 on my books forever, and it's just going to... So if a store buyer is not confident in selling a certain size, like you just never see that size in that store, well, that's why, because that store buyer is not confident that they can sell it. And I found that out, and I was like, what?
So I actually worked at Champs when I was in college, and it's funny you say that, because there was like, this is back in 2011, and I remember being in the stock room, there's just one bottom shelf, these big old size 15, 16, 17s of like, what was it, like the Cardinal 7. We couldn't get rid of that one shoe.
Funny,
we
about
couldn't do
the
anything.
Cardinal 7.
Like, all right, we're hanging out with that one, and what do we do here? We had, let's see, remember Jordan 11 Comforts when it mixed the Air Maxes?
Yeah. When they first came.
I'm like, what do we do with this shoe? Like, but you're right, you can't, especially if you're a boutique store, these mom and pops who are getting shut down every day because the Nike accounts are getting shut down every day, you have to be smart. And I'm actually, I know one of the buyers at one of the stores here, and yeah, he has to be smart about it. They forecast
so look pretty at the end of the day, like that, and I get it, because you want to stay open. You don't want to have a snafu of 4 back-to-back releases where you got sizes that just didn't sell. There was no sell-through. And it's not even that, they don't care about the rate of sell-through. They care about the end result of it, right? like everything now. It's slower because everything is online, so you have less foot traffic to the actual stores. I get it. So even more reason for a store buyer to say, no, I'm only getting my 7 through 13. I might even get, and they have smaller sizes. They can literally get a men's size 3.
That a thing? That's a real size. I thought, oh my god, I didn't know it was a real size.
So men's size 3 up until a men's 18. So they can order anything in that size range.
Dang, see, you blew my mind. See, I didn't think it'd be anything past like maybe like a men's 5.5. I didn't think they'll drop that down to a 3.
So I've physically seen men's 4.
And it's not a GS?
No, it said men's 4. It just said, yeah.
Basically, they would charge $180 for that men's size 4. Chill out. Are you serious?
But you got to think about, like, all right, so back then when there weren't certain pairs that came in GS sizes. So that's the only reason that exists. And I want to say the only difference is the size of the Wings logo, because with the women's or GS, the Wings logos are tiny compared to a men's, which means the Wings logo is bigger. And I compared my wife's women's size to men's size that I've got. And you can see it right off that.
Dang. Damn, look, I learned something new, because I thought as soon as they broke down after 5, it was straight to GS. But wow, all right. Shoot. Dang.
And that's the only reason those exist. But I'm pretty sure you got more questions lined up, man. I'm rambling.
I'm going to learn something new myself. So, look, if somebody else didn't learn something, I learned something today. But, all right. So, last year, we saw probably, at least in my mind in recent history, the biggest saturation of Jordan 1s in recent history to me. I feel like, you don't think it was last year?
2018.
I gotta. What was the
Gatorade packs? You had Gatorade packs, best hand in the game pack. That's 8 right there. Pine toes, purple toes. You had the Art Basel pack. You had Nigel Sylvester. You had 2 off whites. You had Travis. Like, the list goes on with how many pairs released that year. Like,
hey, I didn't realize all those released in 18. I thought those were more spread out.
That was all 1 year.
Good Lord.
In 1 year, you got 2 off-whites, a Travis release, a Nigel release.
God dang.
So, like, yeah, man, like, that was a crazy year. The tongue tag pack, which was a canvas pack with, like, the print all over it from what the tongue tag was. There was 3 pairs in that. So, yeah. Plus, you ended the year with the Gatorades, Spider-Mans, and no, not Spider-Mans, Gatorades, and I think Rookie of the, a lot. 2018, a lot.
Dang. So,
but yeah, last year was, see, we get between 18 and like 26 pairs a year. OG high. That's so, like, last year was less than 2020, because 2020 we got 4 more than we got last year. I can't remember the total number we got last year, because I got every pair minus the 2 collabs. I didn't get the Travis's and I didn't get the trophy rooms, but I got everything else from January to December. I literally got every OG high that dropped last year. Thank you, Brand Jordan. But like, yeah, so like, and that's including the KOs. And I got 2 collabs last year. I got the Billies and I got the Soulflies. So I did get 2 collabs last year. Oh, 3. I got the A-Moss too. I did get the A-Moss. I almost forgot about that. Because my wife got those for me. My wife hit on the raffle for that. So, like, that was my anniversary present. So, but yeah, no, like, yeah, last year was pretty decent. It wasn't like Last year was the first year that I wanted everything coming. That's how I know it wasn't like a lot. It just felt like it because of how slow time is moving for a lot of us, being how our daily lives have completely changed from 2019 to now. Like we're in the house a little bit more. A lot of us are working from home, so we're a little bit more stagnant. We got a little bit more time on our hands to visualize and see a lot of this stuff, from leak to release date to upcoming release to, okay, this release is Saturday, feels like a span of 3 weeks. So it can feel overwhelming, and like it took for last year for me to like really understand how people were feeling in 2012 or 2013, when literally we had same amount of releases, but like they were more prolific. So you got to think 2013, you got Breads, Royals, Shadows, Black Toes, Chicago's all in 1 year.
Yeah, that's a one that hurts my heart still, because I still didn't get any of those.
But just think about that in terms of how much money people were kicking out, not to mention the 11s that dropped that year, not to mention any 6s or 12s that dropped that year. And just think about that in the scope of, these are OGs dropping in 1 year. So, like, I get it when people say, oh, they're killing us, man. They dropping too much, da-da-da-da. And it's because, in their terms, like, yo, it's a lot of money to be spending.
For sure.
So, like, I wasn't empathetic when I was hearing that up until last year, because it was like, yo, like, everybody else doesn't have a problem with it. Like, they happy this is dropping. Like, yeah, no, they're not saying that they're not happy that the stuff is dropping. They're saying that, yo, like, I couldn't buy everything if I wanted to, because that's like,
Yeah, man.
that's what they're saying. So it took for last year to like really get that through my head. Like, oh shit, like I get it now. Like, now it's not a lot that's dropping in terms of, oh, they oversaturating or nothing like that. No, it's really just like a mountain on top of people who feel like they have to stay up on things. Like, I want everything, but I can't afford everything. You would get that feeling.
Yeah, no. That's most definitely, because I think that's what happens a lot. People, like, I can speak for myself, working from home now because of everything going on, you're just more visual. You get this thing like, oh, man, those are pretty dope. I have way more time to dive into this shoe now than I did when I was back and forth commuting. So I make myself almost want this thing, knowing dang well I don't really need it. But I feel like there was, with all the wants of, oh, I want this one, there's been more of a, people have been a little bit harsher, I think, on certain releases with certain Jordan 1s. I mean, I can definitely be that person as well, but you look at things like the Volt Gold pack, or Volt Gold Jordan 1, or the Patina Jordan 1, or
both very, very, very jarring pairs that are out there that deserve any criticism that they give them, because I get it. They're not the typical Jordan 1, which was the look that they were going for. Like, we're trying to step outside the box and give y'all a mixture of materials and concepts and just something wild. Like, to have patina on a shoe is fucking crazy. Like, a natural patina on the shoe. Like, I'm not telling anybody to do this shit. Please do not take my word for it. But like to really wipe the rest of the blackness off and just have that completely gold shine bronze through, like, that's crazy. I think that was dope. But they also gave you 3 different leathers on one shoe. They gave you the nubuck in the back, they gave you the tumbled leather on the side panels, and then they gave you full grain flat panels on one shoe. Like, that was the material play for that. Then you turn around and you do a Volt Gold where they give you 4 materials on that. They're giving you canvas, they're giving you a flat matte black leather, untreated leather on shoes. Like, they haven't done that since. Like, that's different. Like, they were trying to give out more fun things. Like, they gave us a summertime shoe with the fusion reds, like they pink lemonade and whatnot. Like, they were just trying to do something different and put some more vibrant feels out there. And then they gave you 3 OG colorways last year. They gave you the Chicago KOs. which were literally the best remastered retro that I have seen to date.
Okay. Better than the what was it? The
85 high. Yes, yes, yes. They are blow for blow, spec for spec, right next to their counterpart of an 85.
That's what's up. See, I didn't get a pair of those. It was when I was trying to like really kind of like I can't buy everything. I was like, okay, these gotta go. I've had them before, but now knowing that they were, spec for spec the way they should have been, that again, it helps when people can get things in hand.
Time with that. Like, I talked to a few of the guys on that, and they was like, I mean, they with respect to Virgil, like everything could be done, and they feel like, a lot of the times they do what they can, and what they get back is what they get back. May not be right next to the sample, but they push. So for that to come back the way that it did was like a win for the team, because like they tried the toe box issue on the fours, right? You know how a lot of people were saying that it just wasn't right. They fixed it, but we didn't see it with a lot of the pairs last year. Shout out to Nightwing and the wear testers. When if you check the production date, you would see which pairs line up to which pairs. There were certain pairs last year that hit it right out the park. I can't remember which ones because I don't wear fours, but there were certain pairs that hit the specs right out the park that were like blow for blow recreations of what you would get back in the 80s or early 90s. And then there were certain pairs that weren't. And I can't remember for the life of God which ones weren't, but I know the production dates were this far apart. So it'd be like earlier this year, those pairs didn't, and then switch flipped, and then everything else after that was on point. So they have been trying. I'll say that.
Yeah, no, they most definitely have. I mean, you see some. I feel like from the pairs I've gotten last year, of course we could always have our gripes about quality, but we have to realize that when you produce something on such a large scale, there's going to have those issues, even though we don't like it because we're spending a good amount of money on them. But I can say that I feel like personally, I don't speak for everybody, I feel like there has been some better product coming out of Jordan Brand, especially around the ones. Like I have the patina ones. I love them. I got the ghost green lows, something that really fell super under the radar, but it was a great quality shoe, in my opinion, compared to things like, I don't know, let's say I heard the Starfish lows. I didn't get a pair of those, but I've heard things like kind of questionable quality on that one. It was such a hype release.
Well, so it depends on, it also depends on what somebody's perception of quality is. But I didn't see anything wrong with them. But at the same time, the natural gray lows are probably some of my favorite lows that dropped last year. The Soulfly lows, although I like them, I don't like the swoosh and I don't like the heel. Like certain aspects of the shoe I don't like, but the overall shoe is dope. It's cool. It feels great on foot. And that's always the other thing, like the quality aspect. Like what are your sliders for quality when it comes to these shoes? Because everybody's isn't the same. Somebody sent me a text recently. Oh boy. And in this text, it said that Adidas was the number 2 selling sneaker brand of 2021. Right above Jordan Brand, right below Nike.
Huh. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it because I hadn't seen. I mean, I guess we're looking as a whole. There's a lot. Again, we go back to the thing that there are more shoes out there than what we know. And the Forum had a heck of a year. The Forum actually, with the 84 Forum, that construction was exceptional. I have a pair of them, but I never would have guessed as a whole.
The other thing is, it was a short year. Like a lot of the stuff didn't release. There was a lot of canceled releases. A lot of the stock wasn't here. So it was like a lot of the revenue wasn't there where it needed to be for them to be at the top. And I'm pretty sure they're not counting anything that, came afterwards. So I get it. I get it. I just find it strange. Like that I think that tweet came out today. I gotta find out who sent it though.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see because I'm guessing probably something like Footwear News or something will have the actual numbers and reports on it here within a month or so. So that's something I think the guys and I will probably dig into once we get information, because that's I didn't know that. I never would even guess that, because again, like you said, it's a short year. You didn't really hear many things from the brand, but again,
so many things got canceled last year, man. Especially a lot of the collabs. A lot of the stuff got pushed back to this year. A lot of the major things for this year got pushed back to next year. I keep saying cherries. I'm not going to tell what cherry is dropping, but there's cherries returning. I love doing that. I do that a lot. Like I kept saying Fire Reds was coming back for a hot minute. Then I said, fuck it, Fire Red 3s are returning. And like people were like, yeah, all right. I was like, well, it's going to take for somebody like my brother, like Z, to do it before like people recognize, like, nah, I'm dead ass. Just like the collabs and stuff. And shout out to Poe, because that's another guy on Twitter that says things, just randomly says things, and it just goes under radar. Like, I'm super mad because he told me he said something about the Union Tools like March of last year. I'm like, if he said it, it went so left field that I just didn't pay it no mind, and I didn't. He tweeted it out. He said, "Yeah, that's not all that Union has coming. They have tools coming." And then I got the information about that late end of the year, like November, December timeframe when I got the information. So I was sitting there like, you know what? Somebody said this. Oh, you know what? A friend of mine actually said this. So I can't. But it happens. A lot of the information is just, it's always out there. It's just up for people to pay attention to who's saying it and when they're saying it. Like, there's a rumor that undefeated fours are actually going to be a thing this year.
Oh my God, the pandemonium will happen for that. Like, what do you do with that release? You can't. You have to
Only
do.
Undefeated will be releasing it though. If it happens, let me not say it as if that is a go. If it happens, they're the only ones.
Man, I mean, if it did, I mean, kind of straying away from the Jordan for a second, having something like that released, I thought the same energy would happen around that Watch the Throne LeBron 9, but it's sold out to a degree.
But
I was really surprised that it didn't. I don't want to say cause like kind of an uproar. That's what we're looking for, but I thought it would have a little bit more staying power in the sense that we would be talking about it more, because it released, it came and gone. I don't see photos of it really. I mean, of course, you got the guys out there doing reviews. Nightwing, Cousteau, all the guys out there hitting the reviews on it. But other than that, you don't see the.
Shout out to Cousteau, man. He shouted me out in a small little 30-second clip, and I gained like 300 followers after that.
Oh, Cousteau, help me out, dog. What's up?
All he did was give me a small little shout out, and that happened. I was like, "Hey, whoa, hey!" And then it was funny. Sorry to cut you off, but that I had to say this, man. Salute to that guy, man. He is amazing. So is Nightwing. Chris is nothing short of a fucking encyclopedia. But Cousteau, man, my little brother was so hyped that my name was said on his show that he screen recorded it, sent it to everybody. Didn't tell me, but sent it to like everybody else. And I was like, yo, like, I'm happy you happy and all, but like, you could have told me that happened. Like, I didn't find out till like the next day. He was like, oh, my bad. I thought I tagged you. I was like, you didn't, but thanks. It was like, he was super excited, man. So it's like, appreciate that, Cousteau. Just knowing that, that there are other people that appreciate the small quirkiness that is me in the social media space, man. Like, it's crazy. Because again, I say it daily, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly, to try not to like sound monotonous or self-deprecating like a lot of people really are. But like, I don't take myself to be some like huge personality influencer or none of that shit. Like, I'm just a normal dude who loves this fucking shoe there's probably not a room in this house that doesn't have one of these damn shoes in it. And like, my kids know I love this shoe. My wife knows, for the love of God, I love this shoe. And of course I love them more, but like they get it. Like this is my for lack of better words, and I'm sorry for saying this because of the controversy that's out there, but for lack of better words, this is my ministry. This has helped me bridge the gap to a lot of people who are going through shit that don't have a way of dispelling what they're going through, or getting that release out. They talk about shoes, and they have aspirations of getting certain things or doing certain things with these sneakers. And because of sneakers, they're able to do it. Whether it's painting, whether it's carving, whether it's sculpting, whether it's drawing, CAD work with 3D machines, these podcasts that we're on, sneaker shopping shows, like whatever it is, like sneakers has afforded a lot of people to just have outlets. And I've been a beautiful conduit to a lot of people to release. So that in itself is amazing, man. And I want to say thank you to anybody who's tuning in right now, who's ever supported me, the new people that are supporting me, and to the people who stopped supporting me. Thank you too, because y'all are all necessary for growth. So I had to throw that out there, man. Just when you said Cousteau, that sparked that, man. Because again, you're talking about somebody who, just started doing reviews and articles for like $25 to where he's at now is amazing. Same thing with Nightwing, like how their progression is. And of course, Nick, his story is crazy too. So salute to Nick too, because without him, this platform right here wouldn't be available too. So again, man, I wanted to, tip my hat and, not hop on a humble horse or nothing like that, but like to genuinely speak that piece, man.
Nah, man, we appreciate that. Like, we appreciate what you do, because you're right. One of the things when I first really got into the sneaker space and social media platforms, yours really stuck out to me. That's when I first got started into it all, and just the positivity you bring. Not only you connect sneakers to people's well-being and their mental health and things of that nature. So I can appreciate that, because you said it right, because sometimes people don't know how to bring up things that are bothering them, or they have somebody to talk to. But if you can find a common ground with them, whether it be a Jordan 1, which, boom, if that helps, it helps. I don't care how you do it. You're getting the help you need. You're getting that outlet, and that's what a lot of people are looking for, especially these last few years. It's been hard with people, whether it be getting sick, losing loved ones, losing jobs, whatever it may be, being stuck in a house. This is a way for them to find that outlet, and maybe it starts with a sneaker conversation. But we always talk about on Sneaker History that we started a podcast with sneakers and started a website, all that good stuff. But the great thing about us is that our Discord, the people we know, we will have a sneaker conversation, but we can talk about anything else as well. And that's what it's all about. And, if people don't realize that, it's not necessarily, I got this over you, I got the better collection. That's cool. We all want to have the best collection. It is what it is. But we're still humans, and we have that basic human need to connect, and we can use that as that conduit. So, I think we can all appreciate that, and we all want to say thank you to you, Kenneth, for the things you put out there, not being afraid to bridge that gap, because some people feel like, if I start talking about this, for a sense of word, I'll be canceled. People won't like me because I'm too this or that. But
I gotta also say a salute and shout out to Liz, who started her own practice last year and has gone a full year of success with that, and everything that she's done with Mental Stash and everything else. But also for her flipping the night switch for me to not be afraid in the talking about mental health in my own way without having to be so overtly about mental health. Like I stopped because it's triggering to a lot of people if you're just like every day suicide depression. Here's the hotline. Like that's not helping nobody. But to be able to deal with a lot of that stuff, like I'm not depressed. I don't have suicidal thoughts anymore. I haven't been in that mode in years, and it's because not only my wife and my kids, but because this is, and not like this, but but like how would I say this? To be able to talk day in and day out, freely speaking my mind, unfiltered, um, without fear of repercussions, is what pretty much killed any anxiety I've had, and just let me go. I'm been, and this is why the brands that I do mess with, because I mess with a good amount of brands. I do have a lot of sponsors, people. This is not just there anymore. Like now, I'm backed now. It's official. Like last year made things official. Like there's a lot of money involved now. So I'm still speaking with my heart on my sleeve. I still don't hold back any emotions when I talk, especially on Twitter. If anybody's following me on Twitter, I'm sometimes just randomly out there. But here's the thing: like people misconstrue response as being emotional and sensitive when no, I'm never emotional and sensitive. I'm more rational and well thought when it comes to that because I want to see where your point is at because this my whole thing is understanding. When we get to this aspect of we're just talking and we're connecting, everything is about shoes right now. So we're having a misunderstanding about shoes. No emotion is in that right now. Because we're talking about an inanimate object. You're not talking about my wife and kids. We're talking about an inanimate object. I will never be upset about your opinion on shoes, especially when it comes to me, or even your opinion of me. Like, fuck me. I'm not going to get upset about that. So my emotions are not and this is why the brands love me. I've been able to separate that and speak rational. And people don't get that. Oh, I got you. You're bothered. You don't know that.
I read your comments just for that, by the way, just to see what happens because I'm like, he's not going to give you this. And I just like, because they're really trying to poke. And like, you're just giving like, it's about a shoe. Like, what do you want from me?
I'm trying to get, I'm always trying to get your point. I'm never like, oh my God, this idiot. I'm like, no, let's get to the root of everything that you're trying to, we're not going to get there. Okay, I got you. I give up. I want to understand you. You don't want to give me understanding. Cool. You want to trot around and be immature. Got it. Like, I mean, it's social media. I'm not gonna. I can't call you up and be like, "Yo, what did you really mean when you said this? Like, what was you trying to like?" I can't. And we're not like, no.
Too many other things to do. Like, people don't realize that.
I'm working when I'm on Twitter. I'm never on Twitter just to be on Twitter. I'm literally working while I'm on Twitter.
Yep. This is like I gotta clock out now. I'm done. We had this nice conversation, I guess, but I'm out this thing now.
My wife hates it because like there's a lot of times where she'll look over like, yo, what are you doing? And like I can answer in a moment, be like, yo, I'm on Twitter, but I'm also working on this paper, or I'm on Twitter, I'm also working on this project, or I'm on Twitter, but I'm doing this graphic, right? Like the on Twitter part is it was like, dude, get the fuck off of Twitter and do what you need to do. But it's like, it helps me. I know I'm scatterbrained even on a lot of my points, but like that helps me focus on what I'm actually doing, and it actually keeps me productive throughout the day. So like I'll have a misunderstanding with somebody and just be like, "Oh, see, that's how this is supposed to look." Thank you, man. Damn. So like, just it's very entertaining to a lot of people because like when I do have like my wits in with everything, I'll say, all right, man, I tried. And, it's entertaining to a lot of folks. I had a couple of people reach out from certain brands like, yo, thank you. You got me through my day the other day with that snafu that, I'm like, you're welcome.
Oh,
like you said, they just want to see the end results. They want to see how far it's going to go before like people think I'm going to snap and I don't know you.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like, if I got in an argument with my sister online, that'd be a completely different story. Because I got to see her. I don't have to see anybody. Like, truth be told, I would never run into the majority of the people who have gotten upset with me, blocked me, muted me, or anything on social media. I would 90% of the time not run into none of these people. And I plan on traveling soon, and I still know that I'm not going to run into any of these.
No matter where you go, you're not going to find them because they're not
Yo,
going to
I'm
tell
in
you.
your city. What's up? Like, but what's that going to do? Like, what do you want to do now? You had a disagreement with me. I was trying to understand you. You're mad now.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do nothing. It's one of those things. Like I had this Twitter moment. I thought I was cool. I'm popular for 5 seconds. Cause I got an argument, Mr. Unloved Ones. I told him that his idea was stupid. What did you win? You won nothing but wasting everyone's time. Like that's what you
Appreciate it.
Shoot.
Like I'm gonna bring this one situation up that happened a few years back with somebody that I thought I was like really, really cool with, but this like taught me a social media moment to where like people are just acquaintances until they're actual friends, until they're actually somebody that you can count on, right? This was an acquaintance, and he was upset that I kept saying what I kept saying about the Shattered Backwards. He was like, yo, you're trolling at this point. You don't have to say it. Everybody knows Blase Blue. And my response at the time was, well, if somebody brings it up and my response is my response, don't I have a right to say that? Like, that was my point the entire time. But, like, it just kept spiraling into other things. So I'm like, yo, I respect you too much for it to go this way, so like we just gonna agree to disagree, and we ended up blocking each other off of that because it was like just didn't want to see my point. And and once I understood that, it was like there's never going to be a time where I'm gonna be able to freely talk about this shoe and this person not be bothered by it, or him feel that I'm bothered by it, and I don't want that type of energy, so I let that go. And I was hurt by it because like we were cool for a couple of years up until that point. So
over a shoe. I mean,
over a shoe.
Like if I say something you don't like it, it's like you say, hey, yo, Kenneth, I like this shoe. I know, why don't you like it? Oh, this is why you don't like it? All right, cool. That's all I got. Like I'm not gonna be mad at somebody for not having the same opinion as me. That's the beauty of sneakers. We all like something different. We can't like the same thing. It's impossible.
I get it though, because it's like when things become repetitive, you don't want to hear it no more, right? So like I get annoyed. The one thing that does annoy me with social media, oh, they're making too many Jordan 1s. Yo, I'm tired of Jordan 1s. Don't buy it. But I can't say that because then I come off as a dick. Or I hate mids. Why does everybody else buy mids? Well, because they like them. I can't say that because then I come off as a dick. Because it's like, at what point do you take a step back and realize the energy you're putting out there is uncalled for, unnecessary, and unneeded?
Be more productive with something else. Like, you save that energy for something completely different.
And that even goes for me, because there's some times where I put shit out there that is uncalled for, unnecessary, and I don't have to say certain things that I say. I want to. I'm human. Sometimes I feel like saying some shit, and I'm going to say it. Like, that's the beauty of having my own social media. Like, I get it. I did have a sponsor pull out in the past because of certain things that I've said. They weren't like bad or derogatory or anything like that, but it was just the fact that I was saying it in a manner that I was saying it and rapid firing tweets off at that time. This was probably a good 4 years ago. But like I was heated. It was this 2018 Off-White release, UNC's. My credit card didn't go through. I was pissed. I had the money, but like I hit Off-White UNC's. Credit card didn't go through. I hit. Again, repeat, I hit. So like I was going on a rant about all types of other shit that just wasn't necessary. And then like I got an email from this brand that I'm not going to name. And it was like, damn, like all that, because Twitter, like this is not even connected to nothing that we doing. This was before like I actually started advertising stuff that I was doing on Twitter. Like Twitter was separate from my Instagram and everything. I was just, this is where I'm gonna fire off what I want to fire off, and hopefully nobody important sees it. But apparently somebody important seen it, and it was just like, damn, man. But that taught me a lesson that, one, like if I can't be myself, I don't need to be involved with that brand anyway. And two, that, our words do have consequences, regardless of people not thinking that Twitter is a real place. There are certain things that you just can't say and do that will affect your real life. Like I can't say fuck my job, my real day job, and expect for that not to get back to them because they search up their name day in and day out because, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They're going to want to know what their employers are saying about, the company. So, like, let me say some dumb stuff like that and walk into work expecting things to be hunky-dory and they'll be like, hey, man, let me get your badge.
Yeah, let me turn you right around, go home.
Come right back to the gate. Yeah, pull around. Yeah, let me get your badge, man. So, yeah.
Can't do that, man. You can't do that. Well, shoot, Kenneth, man, it's been a pleasure as always talking to you. But, before we go, I got to know, from what we know of from the general public, again, I ain't trying to get you to give up nothing we ain't supposed to know yet. What are your top 3 Jordans that you are, in your words, top priority of 2022 so far?
Yellow toes, women's shattered backwater waves.
Those are fire.
And it's a toss-up. I got 2 more. I'll say the Chicago Volts. That's what I'm calling them. That's my nickname for them. They're green. They're like green Chicagos, neon green Chicagos. So I'm calling them the Volt Chicagos. And there is women's denim coming in that UNC/Storm Blue color blocking. Those are pretty dope. So those are like the 4 that like I'm not missing, period. Everything else, I like it. I'm going to get it eventually. I'm only on the fence with a few pairs, but everything else, like outside of those 4, I get them. I'm happy, cool. But those 4 are like I have to.
Nice, yeah. Those I haven't seen the Volt Chicago's yet, but I've seen the other ones you're talking about.
I'll send you the graph of everything that we know so far.
Okay. Well, I will definitely mark down. Hey, I need 180 for that, 200 for that. So, man, again, appreciate you as always, Kim. Man, everything you're doing. Of course, the rest of the Sneaker History family isn't here with me today, but we all appreciate everything you do, and the sneaker community appreciates you. Hell, everyone knows where to find you already, but let them know, man. Let them know how to get you, so that way, if they aren't following you, which they should be, they know where to get you.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, even though I don't like mess with TikTok. All at Mr. Unloved Ones. And I do have a YouTube channel that I was attempting to start last year, but it's up there. There are some videos from like years past. I think I did an interview with Jumpman Bostic on there. So like go check that out. I got merch coming. Old School Rookie and Juan. But we'll keep that under wraps, man. I got a lot more stuff in plan for y'all. I got a lot of new projects in the works, thanks to a lot of beautiful people out there. So just be on the looks, man. Big things planned for this year, including a couple of trips, man. So thank you for having me on, man.
Of course, man. I love having you on. I love your knowledge, your true sense about things, as you bring a fresh perspective on a lot of things. Because I think a lot of people expect you just to be really just Jordan 1, but you have a vast knowledge about more than just that. So see everything,
Just know, I'll leave y'all with one more thing. Just know, like they locked in the next 3 11s for this year, next year, and 2024.
All right, look, man, my wallet can't hang out with you. All right, I'm just gonna tell you that now. See, my wife could be like, "What are you buying?" Like, stop.
Oh man.
All right, then, man. So, hey, again, thank you, Kim. We appreciate you, man. Follow me, Mr. Unloved Ones, on all the platforms. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the Sneaker History Podcast. This has been another episode, guys. We appreciate you guys for joining in. And until next time, see ya.
Peace.
Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.